I'm Mike Quackenbush, this is Till We Make It, and I'm reporting back with part 2 of my Angioma Odyssey. Well, it is time for us to do the part 2 of the Angioma Odyssey, and if all of this sounds like an unknown mystery to you, maybe pause this video and let me refer you to part 1 of the Angioma Odyssey series, which we will link to above, so you can be caught up to speed, as I have recently undergone the exact treatment I detailed in that first video, an IPL treatment, intense pulsed light. So first, I want to tell you about the ways in which I was prepped for the procedure. Number 1, I had to be clean shaven before the procedure began because the light that they pulsed at my face was of such intensity and heat that it could burn the hair directly off my face. And I know for a matter of fact, I must have missed at least one whisker because during that procedure, I could smell a hair burning right off of my cheek. So that's one way in which I had to be prepared before I went in to see my dermatologist. And as a precautionary move, they gave me a 2 milligram dose of Valtrex, a medicine that is used for a variety of ailments, but was beneficial to me because I am susceptible to cold sores. And there is something about IPL treatment that triggers cold sores in people susceptible to them, just like me. So to make sure that did not happen, they gave me a larger than usual dose of Valtrex, 2 milligrams. Other than it made me feel almost instantly dehydrated, there were no ill effects, and it must have worked because no cold sores broke out on my face as a result of going through the IPL treatment. And once I arrived in my dermatologist's office, one of the first things that they did was adhered metal eye shields to my closed eyelids. This was done so that there was absolutely no chance I could mistakenly open my eyes for even an instant while the procedure was being done, specifically to avoid the light being pulsed right at my face at the exact moment I would open my eye, which could damage my vision. However, if you are a tad bit claustrophobic, like I am, I want to forewarn you, having my eyes forcibly shut by these eye shields and then held that way for about 35 minutes, give or take, was not an entirely pleasant experience. The other thing they did to prep me for the procedure was that they covered the parts of my face where the light would be pulsed with a coolant jelly so that I didn't have burn marks all over my face from the intensity of that really rapid fire, less than 1 second release of light. And the light spectrum they chose was specifically meant to target the color red, because as you may remember, the cherry angioma that I had above my left eye was very bright red in color. And the trick of the IPL treatment is to get the body to reabsorb that hemoglobin. That's what leaves that red mark on the skin. So the wavelength of light they chose for me specifically targeted the color red in the hope that it will break up the hemoglobin and allow my body to naturally reabsorb it. So after all that advanced work was done, it was finally time for my intense pulsed light treatment to begin. And as I alluded to, it lasted somewhere between 30 and 40 minutes. I was told up front that the brief light pulses, which last for less than 1 second each, would feel like a rubber band being snapped against my skin. And I don't think that is a fair descriptor of what the IPL treatment was like. What it felt like to me was someone taking a red-hot pin and pricking it in and out of my skin, rapid-fire style. Less than 1 second, in and out. But it was a lot closer to feeling like something hot piercing my skin than something being snapped against it. And in all, they pulsed the light about 50 times. So, in addition to treating the one that's above my left eye, and I'll show you up close the result in just a moment, they also found a couple that were so small I hadn't even noticed them yet. But they had the potential to grow to be as large as the one that was above my left eye. And since I was already in the chair and clean shaven and had the coolant jelly all over my face, they decided they were just going to treat them all while I happened to be seated there. And I gave that the thumbs up. So after enduring all of that, once the procedure was done, they cleaned me up and they removed the eye shields and I was free to leave the office. That was it. There was nothing more to it. Of course, they gave me some discharge instructions on my way out the door, and by the time I got home, my face was already starting to become discolored. And within just a few hours of the treatment, half of my face turned purple, as if it had been punched a bunch of times and was forming a bruise. But by the time I woke up the following morning, it was totally gone. However, it was replaced with significant swelling all over my face, to the point that when I looked in the mirror, I did not even recognize myself. And so I treated that with ice packs in 10 to 15-minute intervals all throughout the day to try and get the swelling to go down a bit. And now here I am a couple days removed from the treatment, and I want to show you exactly what the cherry angioma above my left eye looks like. You'll remember it was bright red in color, and right now it is turning purple. And in a few more days, it will start to look brown as it becomes a scab. Ideally, here's what will happen. That scab will dry, flake, and then crumble away, and underneath it, my skin will be clear. However, there is the possibility that when that scab falls off, some of the red hemoglobin will be left. This is because the angioma above my eye was so large in size, it may require a second treatment of IPL. I did not especially enjoy my IPL treatment, so I am really hoping that when that scab falls off my face, the angioma is gone for a variety of reasons. One, every treatment of IPL I must pay for out of pocket. And two, having my eyes glued shut again and hot pinpricks being thrust through my face, I could really do without a second round of that. And in case it wasn't clear, if I must go back for a second round of intense pulsed light treatment for this cherry angioma above my left eye, I will pay for a second treatment out of pocket. And that's because this entire procedure is considered cosmetic. Cherry angiomas on the surface of your skin are not malignant, and generally speaking, they pose no health risk whatsoever. So removing them from the body is considered a cosmetic procedure. And because insurance does not cover those cosmetic procedures, or at least mine doesn't, that means I'm out of pocket if I've got to go back for a second round of having that cherry angioma above my eye treated. So there's still one more part to come in my Angioma Odyssey. I'm going to check back in after this scab has finally fallen off and we can see the results plain as day. Did it break up enough of the hemoglobin that the red mark is gone from my body? Or am I due to go back to the dermatologist once again for a second round of intense pulsed light? We'll bring you the conclusion right here on Till We Make It. Stay tuned, true believers.